Welcome cousins to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips and tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Please don't forget to press the like button, subscribe and comment in the comment section. If you have a story you want to share with viewers, you can contact me on the email address down below. Today's session will be on counselling in terms of relationships and marriages. And is it worth it? Counselling only works where two people are willing to change and work together as a team moving forward. So you need to ask yourself, can the other person change and can yourself change? Because it's a two-way street. So if you're in a relationship and you're with a narcissist, can that person really change and become a better person? I've seen it happen a few times in very, very rare situations, but personally, I think a person is pretty much there as a narcissist for the rest of their lives. And you could spend a huge amount of money on therapy and counselling to try and change that person, but you've got to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? So before you go to counselling, can that person change? And that's what you need to ask yourself. Another one is a nagger. Does your woman nag constantly? So when you're around the house, they nag. They have a to-do list that it forever grows, and they always bring it up once you come in through that door after a hard day's work. Here's your to-do list. Go do it. So I want this done. Go mow the back lawns. I want the hedges trimmed. And this constant nagging, that's what drives a lot of guys nuts. So can your woman change? Can she drop the nagging? And that's what you got to ask yourself. Is she going to be set like that for the rest of her life, or does she have the ability to change? Another one is women that are hopeless with money. People that just spend like a drunken soldier. Now, we all know how hard it is to earn money and the effort required to make bank. The worst thing you want to see is your money going out the door as quickly as it comes in through the door. So you've got to ask yourself, the woman you're with, is she going to spend you into bankruptcy? And believe me, I've come across plenty of guys where they've had a lot of their money just disappear and go out the door. And I'm sure it works both ways. There's women out there too who work extremely hard and they see guys that just waste their husbands waste money. So it's always a two-way, both sides when I'm talking about women. So can someone be frugal and sensible with money? You know, do you need 5 toasters? Do you need 5 fry pans, and so forth and so forth and so forth, and clutter. And just if you just got rid of all the clutter around the house, there'd be tens of thousands of dollars going out of the house at the same time. It's just that people tend to waste money on senseless junk. And if you've got a woman that just continuously loves to buy, then can she change? Can she change for the better? The jury's still out on that. I don't know. Another big issue with relationships is sex. Does your woman still want to have sex? She may have sex bombed you at the start of the relationship to win you over, get the ring on her finger, marriage, and then once she's got you into a contract that the government backs up, she's got you by the balls and she can turn off the tap, or she can use sex as a weapon, or sex as a motivational tool to get what she wants, whether it's a handbag or a trip overseas. So also some women genuinely just go off sex. They're just no longer interested. They have hormonal changes and they're no longer interested in sex. And that puts a huge strain on a relationship. So you need to ask yourself, is this biological? Am I high voltage on this front and she's low voltage on that front? So we're not compatible going forward, or can she undergo therapy and possibly take medication to increase her sex drive? These are the questions you need to ask yourself before you go into counselling. Otherwise, you're wasting money on counselling fees. So I actually have an inherent bias against counsellors and psychologists. it all started pretty much when I was at university, and I was dating quite a few women who were becoming or wanted to become psychologists, and they were the most screwed up women I've ever come across. So why I would ever trust someone like that, telling my life story to, is beyond comprehension. Another one is later on in life, I started to mix in circles at the very high level, and I came across people leading mental health experts in the country, leading psychologists and leading counsellors. And you actually look at the person and their relationship wasn't hot. They had a dysfunctional relationship. They had dysfunctional kids, and they had pretty much had a broken home. So it's always interesting, people providing advice, but they don't have their house in order. So I had an inherited bias against that profession, but I'm not saying that there's not good counsellors out there, there's not good psychologists out there. I'm sure there are. And if it works for some people, then that's great. I can only tell you on my experience. Now, I did have a experience where I came out of a long-term marriage, and we did do the counselling session. And I was very hesitant. At $500 an hour, I thought, this better be good. And she was well known, well recommended, so we went along. And it was very interesting. You start off with the small talk and the pleasantries and compliment each other, and then start to dig a bit deeper into what's actually niggling each other. Again, you only do this if you think the other person can change. And in some ways it's good to approach things with an open mind, but then again, you've got to ask yourself, can this person really, really change? Because otherwise you're wasting your time. Anyway, we started to talk about the niggly issues, and one of them was keeping the kitchen clean and where to place items when you come home from grocery shopping. So I was asked by the counsellor, so Scott, don't you think it would be nice if you could come home from doing a shopping and place the items in the correct place in the pantry? So the Oreos can go into the Oreos container, and the chocolate chip biscuits would go into the chocolate chip container. And this is a relationship where that I was in at that stage, where everything was meticulous in the kitchen, and there was labels on every container, and there was even a label printing machine that spat out labels to put onto the containers, and it was a little bit over the top for my liking. But anyway, once the counsellor said that to me, I just had flashbacks about Jack Nicholls in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he acted. I think his acting name in the movie was Randall McMurphy, and he was had to deal with the nasty, cruel nurse. I think her name was Ratchet, and that was a brilliant movie. And I just thought I was in a not an identical situation, but it was very similar, and I knew it was over. I'm not wasting $500 for that nonsense. It's just not me. It doesn't work for me. So politely just played along with until the session ended, and then outside that session had a direct conversation, and we parted company. So in some ways it's best to just call it a day, guys, if you think your partner cannot change, and time to move on to new opportunities. One door closes, another one opens. So if you're in that situation, your marriage is coming unstuck, there are differences. Before you go down the counselling track, you need to ask yourself, can we change together to make it better? If there's one person who's not willing to change, then it's going to be very, very difficult to continue on. And I've just given some very brief examples of a person that's a narcissist, a person that doesn't want sex anymore, a person that's not good with money. Can you change those traits within a person? And there's all sorts of different stories out there, but sometimes people are set in concrete and they can't change, and it's best to call it a day. So that's my tip today, guys, on counselling. It needs two people to make it work. If one person is set in their ways, then you're just wasting hard-earned money. You may as well be pissing $100 bills down the drain. So that's it. Until next time, take care and see you on the next one.